Hello and welcome to a brand new video from the Brainstorm Force team. My name is Yuvraj and I'll be teaching you today everything that you need to know about the Astra theme. Now, as you probably already know, Astra is one of the most popular themes of all time and it's been used and loved by millions of users around the world. It's really flexible, it's fast, it's reliable, and it's just built beautifully, right? And it makes it easy for you to build any kind of website. So if you want to build a blog, you want to build an e-commerce store, you want to build a business website, a publishing site, an affiliate site, a course selling website, or just as a freelancer, you want to build a personal website just to highlight your portfolio, you can do everything with the Astra theme. And the best part about Astra theme is it's completely compatible with all the other WordPress popular products out there. So you can use it with any kind of page builders. You can use any plugins, any popular plugins work with Astra. You can use it with any kind of LMSs, LearnDash, and all that other LMSs out there. And it's compatible with virtually everything that you can think of, even the latest version of WordPress, which is WordPress 5.9 at the date of this recording. It's completely compatible, and we'll be looking at every little detail in the Astra theme today. We'll be looking at how to install it, all the features it has, how to set it up, how to use it to customize your site, maybe the front end, and also look at like the different variety of options it gives you to customize any pages, posts, everything that is in the Astra theme. And also I'll install some of the most popular add-ons I can think of, for example, WooCommerce, and I'll show you how you can customize or use Astra theme with WooCommerce so that you can have a great experience while building a beautiful website with the Astra theme. Now, we'll be looking at the free version and also the pro version, which has even more exciting features. So if you, no matter what level you are at right now with the Astra theme, maybe you haven't decided to build a website and you're just looking at which is the best theme for your website, then you come to the right place. If you have the free version or even the pro version, we'll be looking at everything in detail on how you can use the Astra to completely build a website. So use the chapter markers on this video. I'll leave them in the description. Also, you should see them on the YouTube player right now. And you can quickly navigate to any particular section that you like. But I'd recommend that if you're a beginner, this is the first time you're looking at a complete detailed tutorial, take some time out, maybe grab a cup of coffee and just go through the entire video so that you can learn everything that you can do with Astra, right? All right, I think that's a great introduction, and let's start with the most basic stuff. And first step, installing the theme, and then we'll go sequentially and I'll teach you everything that you need to know about the Astra theme. So let's start with the first and basic step for using the Astra theme, which is to install the Astra theme on your website. Now, there are a variety of ways you can install the Astra theme, so just let me quickly explain how you do that, or how you can do that. The first obvious step is to download the Astra theme from the Astra's website. In this case, you'll get a zip file that you'll need to download and upload to your web server or your website by going into Appearance, Themes, and then adding new and uploading your own. Right now, I have the Astra theme installed already, but if you want to just quickly install the Astra theme from the repository, then it's also possible. It's very easy. And what you can do is just go to the Appearance section in the Theme section, which I'm already in right now. Go to Add New. And here you have the option of just selecting any theme that you like. And most probably if you are on this tab, the popular tab, you'll find Astra on the second, third, or maybe sometimes on the fourth place, but it's usually in the first row itself. Since I already have it installed, that's why it shows up here. But usually you'll find Astra somewhere here, and then you can just click install and then activate the theme and it will be activated. And if you download the zip file, you just click the upload button right here, drag and drop the zip file here and install the theme. And that way it will be installed and activated on your website. And of course, you can download it from the repository as well. The same way, the process of installing it will be the same. You go to the WP or WordPress repository, download the zip file from there, and you can upload and install the theme. The process that you use does not matter. The easiest way is to just go to themes and just selecting the theme right here and installing it. And that way you'll have the latest version of Astra installed on your website. So that's the basic step. And of course, as I mentioned, we'll be looking at the free version, free features. And of course, we'll be also looking at the exciting pro features in Astra as well. So let's start let's go move on to the next segment or next set of settings that you should learn or know about the Astra theme. So let's talk about starter templates. Now, if you don't know, starter templates is a plugin that we offer that works beautifully or complements the Astra theme, and it makes it really easy and fast to build a beautiful looking website, no matter what kind of website you're trying to build. Maybe it can be a hotel website, an e-commerce website. All the options are available in starter templates. And this is the plugin page that you can see on the screen right now. Starter templates, Elementor, WordPress, and Beaver Builder templates. So it technically works with Elementor, WordPress, and Beaver Builder. So no matter what page builder you're using, starter templates is compatible. Now, as I mentioned, it's a plugin that we offer and it's free to use. Most of the templates in it will also be free to use. Let's quickly install the plugin and I'll show you how it works. So inside the plugins menu, or inside the admin area of my website, I'll go into plugins, add new, and I'll quickly search for starter templates by clicking right here, paste the term starter templates. And the first result should be starter templates. The logo should be familiar as you can see it right now, right here. I'll quickly install this and also activate it. So once the plugin is installed and activated, this is the interface you'll see, or you'll be redirected to the installed plugin section. Now, what about the templates that I was talking about? Well, it's pretty easy. Just go and click this link right here, which is called C Library. And this will bring up this section of the website, which will introduce you to starter templates. It's a video that we have created. You can play this, but right now you're watching this. I'll quickly explain how it works. Just click build your website now, and then come to the next section, which is select your page builder. Now you might be using, or you might have decided to use a page builder. I don't know. But just for this example, we'll be looking at Elementor as a page builder of choice. Of course, we can use it or use the block builder to create general pages and use Elementor to create specialized pages on a site. So just to keep it simple, I'll choose Elementor. And right now, this is the starter templates interface. Now, as I mentioned, you have hundreds of templates to choose from. So all these templates that you see, most of them are free. The ones that are labeled premium are part of one of our bundles that you can purchase. I'll talk about that in the maybe later sections of the video. But right now you have multiple options. You can search for a beautiful looking template right here, or you can just go through these categories right here, or the easiest option, just scroll down and keep looking for the template that you like. And then once you like a template, you can navigate to all its pages. For example, let's keep it simple. I'll just choose this template right here, Love Nature, right? It's a more general website template so that I can give you a better idea on how you can use this template to customize. So I'll click this. And as I clicked the button right here, the interface changes a bit. It opens up a full screen preview of the website template. And of course, the home page is loaded right here. But I have the option of checking out other pages as well. I can click the About section or About link right here. It'll take me to the About page, the Services page, the Contact page, and all the other pages that I have on the site. I can quickly navigate and check out. Now, I already like this template, so I won't be bothering going through all these pages. And of course, the beautiful part about starter templates is that you have the option of visualizing how your website will look when you use this template. So one of the options that we provided here is that you have the option of uploading your own logo. And if you upload it, this logo right here will be replaced with your logo, and you'll be able to visualize how your website will look with this logo. So you can match your colors and make changes to the logo, which is kind of a unique thing. Not all the themes, I'd say very little handful of themes actually offer functionality like this, and it just makes it easy for you to build a website. Now, right now, I don't have a logo. I don't have a logo created for this. So I'll just click this skip and continue button right here and go to the next page. And next page offers even more, I'd say, a variety of options. And the first option here right here are color options. So if you want to see how this website will look in a different color palette, you have some predefined color options to choose from. For example, if I click this one right here, look at the color scheme change quickly. The button colors changes, the divider section colors changes, and the other colors on the website also change. And I can, I have different options that I can use to quickly, beautifully look at what colors will look best on my website. Now I can do this with fonts as well. For example, this is the default font section or font, I'd say a combination of font pair. But I can just quickly click all the different font combinations, and I'll instantly see a preview of how my website will look like if I choose a different font pair. Beautiful, and just makes the process more interactive and more personalized. So let me just switch to the default options right now, just keeping it simple, going back to the default colors and also the default font, and just clicking continue to reach the next step. And right now you have this information right here, which you can fill in and get some interesting details, or I'd say information from us, sign up for our newsletter. And what you can do is, if you don't want to, you don't have to do this, but you have these options right here: import customized settings, import widgets, import content, and import or share non-sensitive data. Now, this is pretty obvious what you need to do. What I'll do is just submit and build my website. Of course, most of these options are important for you to set up or have enabled so that the website actually looks like how you saw it in the demo. I'll click this button and I'll wait for a few seconds for my website to be built. And that's it. In just 39 seconds, our beautiful looking website is actually ready for us to use. And this is one of the most best ways to start building a website, right? Even if you don't want to have the website that appears how it appears in starter templates completely, of course, this is just a starting point. For example, I'll just exit to the dashboard and I'll just open up the website and show you how beautiful the website looks in just maybe a minute's worth of work. So I'll click here, go visit the site, open it up in a new tab, and let the website load. And of course, the website looks beautiful, exactly how we saw in the starter template section. And this is one of the best features about Astra. No need to start working from scratch. Of course, Most people watching this, I am including me, I'm not a designer. I don't have great design skills. So if someone gave me all the tools and said, hey, just create a beautiful looking website like this, I probably will fail and make a terrible looking website. So this gives me a great starting point. And of course, as I showed you, you don't have just one template. You have hundreds of templates that you use to create a beautiful looking website. And of course, if you go to other pages, they are completely built out as well. So this is the about page, completely built, services page, completely built. Let's wait for it to load. And of course, we have other pages as well. We have the contact page. And the best part is that all the necessary plugins that you need to use, they're also installed and activated on your site. For example, the form plugin that you need to create a form is already installed and configured on your site. So you don't have to worry about learning different plugins or doing all sorts of studies and understanding how to configure stuff. Everything is done for you. And of course, this is a starting point, so you can customize anything. Let's say you want to have additional details in the form here, you can actually do that. So this is one of the best things about using Astra. This is just starter templates. Of course, this is just a basic point. And now we'll be looking at all the stuff inside Astra that you can use, or all the other things that you can do with the Astra theme. And whatever we'll be doing, we'll have a good looking website to actually see how it affects the website instead of a blank slate. All right, let's head to the next section, and we'll be looking at specific features inside the Astra theme and how you can start using it or customizing all the beautiful stuff or all these settings on this beautiful looking website that we just created. So by this time, we've installed the Astra theme and we've installed starter templates and used the beautiful starter template to create a website really quickly. But now we go into the more nitty-gritty stuff, the more ground level work, where you actually start customizing how Astra appears for a lot of different settings that Astra actually supports. And most of those settings are done through the customizer, which is a WordPress feature. And to reach the customizer, there are two ways to do so. If you're on the front end of your website, like this, you're on the home page, you can click the customize button right here. Or from inside the backend, what you can do is go to appearance and customize. It'll take you to the same place. So I'll just click this right here and it'll take me to the customizer. And this is what the customizer looks like. The complete page is now loaded. All these options available right here can be customized, hence the name customizer. So you configure most of the settings that Astra has inside here, and it will affect your website's appearance most of the time, that how things are placed on the screen and everything. Of course, we'll take a look at all these settings one by one. So let's start with the first and the basic, I'd say start with the global settings, right? Because global settings, as you can probably understand, affect or the settings inside the global settings will affect your website as a whole, because global settings, right? So once we go into the global settings, you have 4 different options to choose from. You have typography, colors, container, and buttons. Let's start with the container first, because that's something you need to understand. So going into the container settings, now, if you don't know what container means, imagine how wide your website is. And the container actually defines how wide your website actually is. Now, the default option that we configure is 1200 pixels because it makes the website reasonably wide, but also usable mobile devices. Because when you use or when people actually visit your website from a desktop, the aspect ratio is quite wide, but on mobile phones, the aspect ratio is quite the opposite. It's more of a long aspect ratio. So you want to keep an aspect ratio or container width which kind of suits both devices. If you make it too large, then it might not look great on mobile phones and vice versa. Right. So 1200 is usually, I'd say, good to go. But if you increase or decrease this size, you'll see that, let's say I make it 950 pixels for now. Let's give you an example. And you see the container width actually, or you'll see the elements on the screen coming together because the content width is now smaller. And if I do the same thing, but in the opposite direction, let's say 1400 pixels, then that happens, the container becomes wider. But I'd say 1200 pixels is a reasonable number. Now, again, if you don't know or don't have a reasonable reason or explanation to change this, 1200 is usually the perfect setting. Now, coming to layout options, you have a couple of options here. You have layout, then you have page layout, you have blog post layout, and archive layout. Now, technically, all of these do the same thing. I'll explain why. The layout option right here has a few different options. You have boxed, content box, full width contained, and full width stretched. And this defines how the page actually appears. Now, this website or this home page right now is not a great I'd say, example for any of these settings. But let me open up our documentation or Astra's documentation where all of these details are actually mentioned. So I'll have these examples open up on the screen while I'm explaining some of these options. So I'll open up these in a separate tab, and I'll show you or explain what they mean. So in a box layout, if you have this kind of a website where you have the content right here and you have a sidebar as well, the box layout will make them the content on the sidebar appear as box or as boxes. So that's why it's called a box layout. The second option is a container layout. So this makes it appear like this. And the next layout, which is a more of a full width container layout, that means the container layout but with a full width appearance. And also the fourth option, which is full width stretched layout. It makes sure that the actual the sidebar area also is stretched to the full width of the interface. So again, the subtle differences, but most of the time, as I said, you don't need to worry too much about it unless you have a reason to do so. If you have a website just like this, for example, this one, this does not have a sidebar, so you can kind of choose any of these options. Now, why are there 4 different options to choose from? Because when you choose this layout option, then it affects the entire website. So if you change box to maybe say content box, then the entire website will shift to a context box layout, right? But let's say you don't want to do that. You just want the pages of your website to have a certain layout and the posts on your website to have a certain different layout. Then these are the options that you work with. For example, let me set this back to box. And on the page layout, now I can set it to something else. And for blog posts specifically, I can set it to something else. And for the archive pages, I can set it to something else. So you have complete control over how each of the page types on your site appear or what layouts they use from the Astra theme, right? So just once again, clarifying or repeating myself, container width defines how wide your content is. Layout defines how or the way the layout actually appears on the site or the way elements are shown on your page when you have a sidebar specifically and other elements on the page. And it's just a way to configure, or Astra does provide options for you to configure it on a per page type basis. So you can define it differently for pages, posts, and of course we have, when I demonstrate this with WooCommerce or other maybe LMSs, you'll see some additional options, or not only the container options, but other options as well. I'll do that once I've run through the basic settings, and then I'll install maybe WooCommerce. I'll show you some settings that are additionally available in the Astra because we are compatible with it. So this is the container layout. This is, I hope you understand everything. Going back, now we have typography, colors, and buttons. Let's start with typography. Now, typography, as I demonstrated when we were installing starter templates, Astra theme offers presets for typography. So now you have a default typography template that's or a typography pair that's already been selected, but now you can change it. So we also provide predefined typography presets again right here. So you can choose any of these templates or typography presets as I demonstrated when we were importing the template. Or what you can also do is go into the body font families option right here and select a specific font. For example, right now the font is DM Sans, but if I click here, I can choose so many different, or all the Google fonts, 600, 700 fonts are available for me to pick up. So any font I like, I can quickly change it, and it will quickly refresh the font right here. For example, let me just switch to something else. Maybe let's say this one, and let's just wait for the page to load for a second. And you'll see the font is now changed here. Let's go back to the old font, which looked much better in my opinion. And coming here to the variations, and a lot of fonts have variations, right? Sometimes they have italics, bolds, maybe a thick font. So you can have variations also showing up here. For example, right now, you can see the DM Sans is set to normal 400, but you can set different kind of variations for the font here. Again, you can set the font size, you can set the font weight, that means how thick the font is. You can also choose the text transforms. For example, let's say you want everything appearing on your site capitalized, uppercase, lowercase, that is also an option. You can also configure the line height, paragraph margins on the bottoms, and this is just, I'd say, for the body font. Coming down here, you also have the options, same options, exact typography options for the heading font family. So let's say you want to change stuff for headings. For example, let's try this out right here. I'll go back here, just choose a different font. Let's wait for the page to load. And now you see this is a different font. So this affects only the headings. The setting above affected the body or just the regular text on your page. Going back right here, again, you have the similar options, exact options that I just demonstrated above. So you have light height options and text transform options, and also you can configure all of these options for different heading types as well. So let's say you want to make different settings available for H1s, H2s, H3s. You have these options to configure how each of these headings will appear, or what kind of settings will you have. For example, if I show you H4, it has a line height of 1.25 em. I can configure this for H3 differently, H1 differently, H2 differently. So I have complete control over not only what font pairs I choose. I can just choose the typography options or pairs right here, and it'll give me predefined options. But if you want to go into the nitty gritty and you want to get your hands dirty by customizing everything, you do have that option as well. So that's a great, I'd say, balance of things. If you don't want to like mess around with like fine tuning your fonts, just choose a different font pair. It's easy. Or if you do want to do so, you have the time, you have the skills that you want to have great typography on your website, then you have all the options right here where you can go and change everything. And one of the great parts about Astra is whenever you see this icon right here, I don't know if you maybe it's obvious to you, but for beginners who don't know this stuff, this is actually a very important thing to understand. For right now, we see the body font family is set to 16 pixels. But what about if a different device is being used to configure or maybe access your website? For example, I'm right now on my desktop, obviously, but your visitors might be coming using mobile phones. And what if this font size is too small or too large for mobile phones? How do you configure different devices or font sizes for different devices? It's pretty simple. Just click this button right here, and it'll transform to a different view. Right now, you can see it's a tablet view. And our tablet view, the size or this option can be customized differently. That's the beautiful part, right? And you can do the same thing for mobile phone. Just click this right here. And now you have a mobile phone preview right here. And you can quickly see if the actual font size that's put in is sufficiently large for mobile devices or maybe too small for mobile devices. And you can customize these sizes for individual devices. And not just this setting, anywhere you see this. For example, if I just scroll down to the bottom, you'll find the same options right here. Size option, again, coming to the font family for the headings as well. You have these options right here in the headings and also for different font families. So whenever you see this option, you get even more control over how to customize your website, right? So let me quickly switch back to the desktop view right now. And again, in the typography options, just repeating myself, typography presets, easy and fast way to set up beautiful looks on your website. But if you want, you have complete control over how you can set up or what you want to set up every kind of little detail with typography. And of course, this affects your entire website. So once you set this up, your entire website will inherit those settings. And that's all about the typography options. Going back, we also have colors, and colors is again a huge important thing, and Astra is again a leader in this department, offering global palettes. Now explain what that means. Let me first show you what the options are right here. So right now you see 3 palettes here and set of colors here, and then set of colors here and colors here. Now this can be a little confusing at first to understand what's going on. So let me explain this. Astra offers something called global colors. Now, what that means, let me go back to like old days of building a website and let me explain the difference. So when you build a website or using regular, either the old methods, everything that you see on the screen had to have the color options saved individually. For example, let's say this heading, this would have a color set up for it specifically. The button would have this setting. For this particular button, the colors will be set separately. For this heading, the color would be set separately. And every element that you saw, the colors would have to have set separately. Now that's all right because it's not a huge deal. But what happens is once you want to customize your website. So let's say you, instead of the yellow shade, you switch to a blue shade or a blue hue on your site. Now everywhere that you have used the yellow color, you have to go back to and change that color on all the elements, right? It's a little time consuming and it's a painful process, I'd say. The bigger the website is, the more pages you have, the more complex layouts you have, the more time you have to spend in doing all this, changing the colors. And that's why even professionals needed a lot of time to customize maybe just a few different colors. So Astra, what we did was we created a global color palette. And what that means is that you define a set of colors that you want to appear on your entire website. And then using those colors, you define your elements. So link your existing elements to them. So these are the colors that are set as the global color palette. And this, of course, is given to you by the Astra, the template that we used. And when you see the globe icon right here, that means the theme color, which is set to this shade, the link color, they are referencing the global colors. And if you want to just click this button right here, you can see the same set of colors appear right here. And this globe icon represents that this color is linked to technically this color right here. So the beautiful part about this is if I change this color right here, just one place in the entire site, everywhere this color is being used, it will update automatically, right? So beautiful part. And of course, we've done a lot of videos explaining this. We've done promotional videos. We have documentation explaining how to do this, but just highlighting how easy it is for you to customize any of these settings. Now, another beautiful part about Astra is we offer multiple color palettes for you to choose from. For example, let's say I don't want to disturb this existing color palette, but I want to try and customize or have my own colors. What can you do? Well, this answer is you have this color palette which is already defined for you, right? Pretty simple. Why not just use this color palette, switch to it, and you'll see now you have a fresh color palette for you. And now you can start customizing the colors on your entire website. Now you have two ways to do so. You do have that option where you can go into individual elements and change the colors, or you can change the entire global color palette by just going right here. I'll give you a quick demo. So right now we are seeing the theme color and everything is linked to the global colors. So let's try and change the global colors and see how it affects your website, right? So instead of the blue, let's change this to, again, a shade of green. And instantly you see the theme color is now set to green and the button has changed to green. So let's say I just spend my time creating a beautiful color palette. I don't have to go on my entire website changing all the elements. I can just change the color palette right here, and the entire website will change to affect or will quickly update to reflect those new colors. Pretty amazing. And coming here, you have a lot of different options, or inside the color options as well. You can choose the theme color, the link color, link hover color, heading color, and text color. And these are pretty obvious and self-explanatory. If you change the text color, it will change the color of your text on your site. If you change the heading color, it will change the color of the heading on your site. If you change the link hover color, it will change the color of the hover link on your site, and vice versa, and of course, respectively. And you have the colors for site background and content background as well. For example, if I go here and if I, let's say, come down here, and of course, this is linked to a white color. Oops, let me scroll back once again. This is linked to this white color. Let me change it to red just for an example, bright red. And as you see, instantly you can see the site background is changed. Of course, this doesn't look good at all. So I'll quickly go back right here. And oops, I think I'll have to go and change it. Just give me 1 second and it's done. So if you just go in any of these settings and you customize it, you'll instantly see, even if you are a beginner to WordPress, you'll instantly see how any of these changes or any of these color options affect your site, right? So Astra makes it really easy, not only to customize your site, but also makes it very fast. Because again, if you want to see how your website would appear if you choose a green theme, you just have to change the colors once instead of going to every single element in a site and trying to change this. And of course, you have a saved color palette as well. So let's say you try this out and you don't like it, just click this and you go back to the original color palette, which was defined by the starter template we used. So this is the beauty of using Astra. And again, just a reminder, you have the option for setting site background colors and content background colors differently for desktop, mobile, and tablet as well. So amazing features, easy to use features. Again, I hope the explanation I gave you was easy to understand. And again, it's completely up to you how you design your website. And Astra is just giving you the tools and the features to make it easy for you to just create a website that you really want to create, right? So that's the global colors option right here. Coming to the buttons options. Again, buttons are also the presets that we offer are global presets. Right now we offer 6 different presets. We offer again, button have colors as well. So button presets, what they do, let's say you have different buttons. Again, as I said, Astra offers global features, but before that, it's not all websites, not all themes offer that. So if you had to, let's say, instead of a rounded corner button, you just wanted completely rounded buttons, you would have to go and find every button on your site and change it. But with button presets, you just have to click a button or click this, and the button will actually reflect those new changes. So reset it, and coming to the color options right here. So you have 4 different colors in the button options because buttons have a separate property for hover as well. So right now you see the color, I'll just hover around the button. You have a bright yellow color with a green text right here. But if I hover over the button, the text actually changes. The colors actually shift a little bit. And that's how you define these colors right here. So the first option is the regular or the regular color, and the second is the hover color. So again, the same options apply here. You have these linked already to global options or global colors. And if you want to change any of these colors, you can just modify them in global colors and everything will change. But let's say sometimes it happens that you want to customize buttons differently. That's also possible. Just do the same thing. Just click on the button, choose a custom color. And talking about these, I missed one point in the colors options. I'll go back once this I complete this. And same option for the background color as well. So right now the background is a little brighter. And of course, as you see, if I hover over it, it becomes darker color. The same options are available here. You can customize these. And you also have the option for creating or customizing the border width. So if this button doesn't have a border, but if I set a border and set a border color as well, you can quickly start seeing that will start reflecting. Let's just try and recreate this for you for a second. I'll set the border width to maybe just 3 pixels just for that emphasis. And I'll just quickly create a black colored border. So you can see it right here. And then instantly you see the buttons now have a border. And of course, if I want to set a different border color or maybe different color for the hover option right here, I can set this as well. So let me set it to, let's say maybe some shade of green, just for an example. And now when I hover over it, you'll see the color actually shifts. So let me reset this and just demonstrating that this is an option that is available. And also you can change the border radius. So you can make it button more rounded, less rounded. That's completely up to you. It's set to 4 pixels right now, so slightly rounded. But if you, let's say, set it to slightly larger number and you just wait for a second, let me just quickly change this. All right. Let me just keep it to the original number, but you do have the option, and you know, of course, use the presets as well to do this. And you have the option of changing the button fonts as well. So let's say you want to change the font that appears in the buttons. You can just click this option right here, and you'll have all the options right here. Right now, the font family is set to inherit. That means inheriting the existing settings, but you can customize these settings. You can customize the size. Of course, you have this option right here, the font weight, text transform options, line height, and letter spacing as well. So you have complete controls over customizing everything on your site. And then of course you have the padding options as well, which is set to 10, 20, 10, and 20. So if you want to customize this on a global level for every button on your site, you have the options as well. And again, you have these options where you can customize them for different devices and also set these paddings in not in just terms of pixels, but other I say measurement values as well. So complete control, a lot of options in here, and don't get overwhelmed, I say, by these options. Astra as a product, what we've tried to do is not only give you all the options that you might need, but just trying to keep it simple as well. And that's one of the reasons we have created presets. So you have the button presets, you have the color presets, you have typography presets. So if you don't want to spend the time changing everything, customizing everything, you do not have to. You can just use the presets, but if you want to, you have that option to do so. So that's all the global settings. I hope you understood everything. We understood how to change typography, colors, and good stuff, customizing the appearance of your website in terms of colors, typography, and other options, right? So we have other options as well that we want to customize and look at. We will look at the header builder, the footer builder. So if you've been following along and if you want to take a breather, time for a small break, take a couple minutes just to refresh, and then we'll go into the header footer builder. And I'll explain how revolutionary it is using the Astra theme to design perfect looking websites for your any needs that you want, right? Short break, we'll come back in a second. All right, we've looked at the global settings and it's time to start diving into some more interesting options that are in the Astra theme. Particularly in this section, we'll be talking about the header and footer builder. The header footer builder is technically a single feature, but it's divided into two parts because it affects two different parts of your website. You have the header builder right here, and you have the footer builder. So we'll start with the header builder first, and just a bit of a, I'd say, warning. But if you haven't seen this, how this works, you'll be blown away about how easy it is to use Astra to create beautiful looking headers on your site. Just for beginners out there, this is the header. Right now, what you can see right here, this is called the header, where you place your menus, your icons, logos, and buttons. So let's go into the header builder and I'll explain everything how it works. Click the button right here, and now you have the header footer builder. You say, okay, what's so great about this? Well, let me explain the interface first. So right now, what you see right here is a single row of elements placed together. That's the header. But technically, Astra offers 3 different rows for you to customize and create a header. Right, so you see this right here. You have the site title and logo, which you see right here. And then you have the primary menu, which is placed right here. And you have the button, which is the button right here. Now, one of the best parts about Astra is this header footer builder and how easy it makes for you to customize and create a beautiful looking header. For example, let's say I looked at a website that had the header in the center and the menu just below it and the button off to the side. Traditionally, this would be really, really hard to do unless the theme actually provided these options as default options. You would have to help or take the help of a developer to do this. But with the Astra theme, all you need to do, grab the actual site title logo. I'll click and hold, take it to the upper section and leave it there. And instantly the header has been customized. That's how easy it is. What about the menu, you say? Well, I'll quickly grab it, place it in the center, and it's done. And button is on the side. Something that required help of a dedicated developer was just done in a few seconds with the Astra theme. And this is just one example, because not only can you move things around anywhere on the header, all three rows, you can add more elements as well. Right now I'm using the site title, primary menu, and just the button. But if you click on any of the blank areas, you'll see a plus icon coming up here. You'll see all the different options or different widgets or elements that you can add to the header as well. So you have the account options. For example, somebody wants to log in, log out, custom HTML, two different elements that you can use. Secondary menu, you can add an additional menu, search box, social icons, and widgets as well. For example, if I just click on the social and just move them to the side, now the social icons are added to the side. Now they're black because the colors haven't been customized, but just telling you the possibilities on how easy it is for you to create a beautiful looking website, beautiful looking headers very, very easily. And this is just, I'd say we haven't explored all the options right here, because each of these elements can be customized or have individual options. Again, if I just dive into the header footer builder, this can be an entirely different video, but just explaining the possibilities. So I'll remove the social icons for now and I'll just recreate the older logo that we had, and I'll just show you how to customize the stuff, right? So site title logo on the left, primary menu, and the button on the right. Again, going back to the default options. So three different sections. So how do you start customizing now? What are the options available for you to customize this? So first thing you need to understand is that three different sections can have individual options or individually customizable options. So if you look at this gear icon right here, which I'm hovering over, if you click on any of these gear icons, it will open up the options or customization settings for that particular row. So clicking right here, which is called the above header section technically, it opens up the options for above header. So now you have options for general, so you can customize its height, or design. So in terms of design, you have the border size. If you remember when I changed this, it had actually a border coming in, which is set by here. So if you want to set up a border, you want to disable the border, that's completely up to you. You can set the border color as well, and background color as well. Now, right now, the background color, you won't see any background color because this is a transparent header, which I'll talk about in a second. But if you didn't have a transparent header, you had the option of setting the background color for just this section. And of course, the padding and margin options. And you can do the same thing for the second row or this second option, which is called the primary header. So you have the option of setting up the height, and you have the option of setting up the border, background colors, the paddings, and everything. Right. Again, this is a transparent header, so the background color options you see not exactly reflecting here. We'll talk about that. Again, same options apply to the third, which is the below header, the height, and the design options. Right. That's pretty simple, self-explanatory. But now, what changes can you do by individually customizing any of these elements? Well, the most obvious example would be, hey, how do I upload my logo, right? So if you want to upload your logo, you just open the options for the site title and logo element that we have added right here. So right now you see the site title and logo element is added here. So I'll click on this right here instantly, and it'll open up the options for the entire element. Right now you see all these options right here, but you also see this notice right here on the screen, which says the logo on this page is set from the transparent header section. Please click the link below to customize transparent header logo. And you can see why it matters, because right now the logo is actually set in some green color, but the transparent header, which your logo you see, is in white color. Because once you set a transparent color, you want to be able to customize different settings for transparent headers. So right now, if you didn't have a transparent header, I'll show you how to enable, disable this. You could customize any of these options right here, right? So you can change the logo. You can have a different logo for Retina high resolution devices, width of the logos that you want to disable or enable, the site title and tagline, and even the favicon icon. But since it's a transparent header, we'll go into the transparent header settings, which you can go by clicking this right here. So once you click this right here, you are inside in the transparent header settings. And what are the options here? First, you have the option of enable on complete website. What that means is you can set the option, or you can set the transparent header to appear on only certain pages, right? So let's say, for example, this is the home page of your website, but you don't want the transparent header to be appearing on maybe a blog post. So you have the option complete, and I'll show you how to enable and disable this specifically on individual pages once we're done with the customizer. But right now, just understand this, you do have the option of customizing or enabling or disabling transparent headers to any page on your site. But if you want it on that complete website, just click on this. And of course, we have videos on, specifically dedicated videos on transparent header, and I'll just link them down below in the description of this video as well. So right now, that it's not set to all the pages, but of course you can see it's set on this page. Next is the enable on. What pages or what devices do you want to have the transparent header enabled? Maybe only the desktop, maybe only mobile phones, or maybe both. Both make sense. Again, if you don't want to spend time in customizing everything. This is an important option. Different logo for transparent header. So right now this option is enabled and you have the logo set up in white. But now let's say you have a logo that works beautifully with transparent and non-transparent logos or headers. You can just disable this option and have this. But the option does exist. So you can have a different logo for transparent headers and a different logo for non-transparent headers. Pretty awesome. Again, different logo for retina devices. If you have a high resolution devices or high resolution displays, you can set different devices or different logos for those devices as well. And customize the logo width for individual devices as well. So those are all the options that you can have in the transparent header option. And of course, any element that you add, you can go into its individual settings, but just by clicking on it. For example, if I want to change or customize the primary menu, I'll click on it. I'll reach these settings for the primary menu. I can change the width, I can change the item divider, have an item divider or disable it and enable stacking on mobile phones. I can also configure the menu from right here. Now, configure the menu is not part of the header footer builder. This is a regular feature in WordPress or in the customizer. So we don't need to worry too much about it. But going back, you have the option to make any changes. So even if you go to the button options, you can change the text here. You can change the link here. You can open it in a new tab, link rel, set it to no follow. Also design options right here, everything. So Astra gives you the amazing amount of control to build your header in just a couple of minutes with complete control with everything that you want to customize. And without this, the process was used to take help of a designer, help of a developer, and then they would spend days, weeks, months creating anything that you like. And then you would visualize how it looks, right? And we've just looked at the header right here. We can also do the same things for the footer of your website. So going back, if we go back and go to the footer builder, we'll have similar options for the footer. Right now, what you see right here is the footer, and footer has similar options, as I said. So as I was saying, the footer is actually very similar to how the header appears, or the actually configuration, customization, setting up of everything that I showed you in the header builder is quite similar, but with a few key differences. The first important difference is that the choices of elements that you'll get in the footer is very different compared to the header. For example, you can see the footer menu right here, HTML, copyright, and if you click any of the blank areas, you'll see some additional options here. Mostly it's the elements that you'll be able to use apart from these are widgets. And widgets mean that you have still flexibility of adding anything. So you're not restricted by the amount of elements or the type of elements that you get to add to the footer. And the more important difference is actually the customization of the layout option right here. For example, I showed you in the header that you had separate sections. So each row was divided into 3 sections. And right now the footer is actually divided into 2 different sections in the first row, 3 sections in the second row, and 1 singular section in the third row. But you have options to customize this. So if you click on the gear icon for maybe the above footer section, you'll see this option right here. So number of columns, you can define that. And you can also change its styling, or I'd say not the styling, but the column width of the number of columns you have. So right now it's set to 2 and almost a 50-50% ratio, which you can see right here. But you do have the option of changing this. And once we look at the pro options, you have additional options or additional layout options right here built in, which you will be able to use. Right now, let's switch to this or stick with this one. But the idea here is that each of these rows will give you some additional options to choose from. I'll just quickly show you the options first, and then we'll go into the individual settings right here. And right now I'm in the footer menu, and I have 5 different options to choose from because I have 3 column layouts. Technically, if I switch to 3 column layout, I'll still have similar options right here. So depending on the number of columns you set, you'll have different options as well. So you have 5 options here. And again, since this is a singular layout, you have 1, but you can change the number of layout options right here and you'll have different options. So that's the more important difference, that because there's the requirement of being a little more flexible, we do provide these options here. Let's go to the actual options to offer the additional options for each of these layers. So let's stick with the above footer right now. And again, one thing important to note is that you can customize this on a per device basis. So different options for desktop, tablet, and mobile devices. Then in the elements layout, you have options for setting them to stack or inline. And then you can set them width of this particular row to be full width or content width. That's also an option. You can change the height. You can change the vertical alignment. It should be top, middle, or bottom. And you can enable or disable this on desktop devices. That's also an interesting option. And this is configuration. Let's go to design options. In design, you have the like setting up the border size. You can set up the background color, inner spacing, column spacings. Again, you can customize this on device basis, and padding and margins. And similar options you can find on each of the header or footer rows, where you will be able to customize most of these options pretty easily. Now, one thing again to remember is that if you want to customize any of these elements, you just have to click on the element and you'll be able to like opt or change them up. For example, the HTML one right here is actually just a logo added right here. If I click this option right here, you see the HTML open up where the logo is added, and I can change the alignment as well and change some of the design options for that particular element. You can do this for the copyright section as well. So the header and footer builder have a similar way of working, but the ease of use of both of these options gives you tons of different options to like create beautiful looking headers and footers, without having any design skills or without requiring the help of a dedicated developer to change all or customize all this. So it makes your life so much easier and gives you so much flexibility and creative control over how you can build your website. So this is the header footer builder. I think I've covered all the options right here. Let's cover some of the other options right here. For example, we have breadcrumbs, we have blog, we have sidebar, and we have performance. Let's start with the breadcrumbs, the simplest one to explain. Breadcrumbs, if you don't know, on a website, I'll just enable it and I'll show you how it works. So right now the header position or breadcrumb position is set to none, which means it is disabled for now. But I click and I say inside. I'll explain what that is. So right now you see this right here, and on any page where you go, you will find like set of navigation elements where you are on the website. So that's called the breadcrumb. So since I enabled it right here, you have the breadcrumb showing up here, because I've set it to header position inside, and separator I've set up as a separator, but this is the home page, so there's no separator required. But I can set to after and before title. Now this obviously will be more effective when I actually demonstrate them on a blog post. So let me open up a post for a second. I'll just disable this for now, and I'll open up a blog post. I'll pause the video for a second and I'll show you how it actually appears. So give me a second. So I've opened up this hello world post, which is default with every WordPress website, and I'll show you how the breadcrumbs actually appear and how you can change the options within the breadcrumbs. So let me just quickly set it to inside once again. Let's see what happens. And now you can see it's inside here, and you have the complete breadcrumbs showing up. So home, uncategorized because there's no category, and hello world. If I set it to after, let's see where it goes. And it's just after the actually header. And then you can also set it to before the title, and then it appears before the title of the page. So you have control over where the breadcrumbs show up. But more importantly, you can also customize on what pages do the breadcrumbs show up. For example, it makes sense for having a breadcrumb on a singular post, but not maybe the home page, right? So if I go to the home page and I set it to inside, because that was one way to make it visible, it doesn't make logical sense to have a breadcrumb on the home page. So you have these additional options right here, where you can enable and disable the breadcrumbs on particular pages or set of pages on your site. So you can disable it on the home page, which makes sense. Let's enable it. But you can also enable or disable it on blog posts or blog post feed pages, search pages, archive pages, single posts, singular pages, and 404 pages. And you can also change the alignment for the breadcrumbs showing up. So you can set it to left line, center line, and right line. So this gives you, again, creative control over where you want to place your breadcrumbs, on what pages, and even how you want to place it. Complete control over to you while not spending time in diving into code. Everything is visual and easy to set up. Coming to the next few options, we have the blog settings and sidebar settings. So let's start with the blog setting. I'll explain what that is. So on any website, you have a lot of the blog pages, individual pages for blogs, and also you have the archive pages, which is collection of pages. So let's start with the archive page first. I'll open this up, and I'll also open up the archive page for this website, which I created because this template does not have a default blog archive page. So this is the blog archive page, right? So what is an archive page? If you don't know, it's just the page where all your blog posts appear in a sequential order, or depending on the order what you set. So this is just a set of pages, set of posts on the website, and this is the blog archive page. So what are the options that you can configure? Let's check that out. So first option is setting the content width. Now this can be default, which we set in the first global options, or you can set up custom width for only the blog archive. If you set it to custom, you have this option, but let's set it to default, or stick with default right now. Next is the post structure, which is more important, I believe. So what's the post structure mean? That means if you see this structure right here, which I can point to, you have the featured image coming up, then you have the title of the post, and then you have some metadata, and then the post excerpt, right? So do you want to change the structure of this? Yes. Or would you prefer to have the option to change the structure? That's what the option is about. So what you can do is you can enable and disable any of these options, and also reorder these options. How to enable this? Let's say I don't want featured image showing up on the blog archive page. Let's click this. And none of my posts now have featured images. Let's enable this. Let's disable the title and blog meta. So I'll just have images and excerpts, no titles and blog meta. But let's say I would prefer the featured image to show up after the title of the post, right? I'll just click, drag. And now the title comes first, metadata comes first, then the featured image show up. Again, you can also do this for metadata. So for example, we have the metadata right here, which is comments, which is blank right now. So it says leave a comment, uncategorized because it has no category right now. And also by BSF, which is Brainstorm Force, which is the author of this post. What if you want to enable or add more metadata? You can enable this, or you have the option of enabling publish date and tags, which is another taxonomy. By clicking this, let's open the publish date right now. So the publish date is appearing here, but what if you want to reorder this? Well, of course, you have options to do that. Let's say I want to keep comments to the last option. I want to keep publish date to the first. Then I would prefer the author, then the category. And instantly, the entire structure of the page is bending to your will. And now you have this beautiful looking page right here. So this is the option just for configuration. Now you also have design options. Let's switch to design for now. You have archive title font size. So what should be the font size of the title? You can set it here. What should be the post title for the font size? You can set that here. Of course, you can customize this on basis of individual devices. That's also an option. Going to a single blog post. I'll open this post up as an example. Let's go back to single post. Now you have similar options where you can customize these options for single post. That means a page which just shows one post. So you can set up or enable, disable, or let's start with content width first. You can disable or customize the content width just for individual pages or individual posts, or you can set it to default right now. The similar options, right? Then you have the same options: enable, disable featured image and blog meta, or even reorder them, and also the meta and reordering of those options. And another option that we have included in the Astra theme is enable related posts. It's a free feature. You can enable this, and you can have some options to customize some of these options. And related posts will start showing up, and you can customize some of these options. Again, we have done a dedicated video just explaining all the options here in related posts. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but the option does exist. You don't need to install another plugin on your site just to show up or show some related posts. Again, you can check this out. It's very simple to understand, but I'll link that particular video in the description of this video as well. So that's all the customizing of the blog section. Let's also look at the sidebar. Let me see if I have a sidebar enabled. I don't think so. I have sidebar enabled, but that's what the option is about. You can enable and disable sidebars, or you can activate or deactivate sidebars, because not all websites need sidebar, and particularly not all pages on your site. Just for demonstration, I'm going to create a sidebar or enable sidebar right here. So you can see the options are, I can enable sidebar on the left or on the right. I'll keep to the right section for now, just an example. Now, I'll go back to the single blog post so that I can actually demonstrate the sidebar options to you. And let me show you how it works. Going right here, instead, even on the archive page, you can see the sidebar is appearing here. And you have a bunch of options right here. So let me just quickly run down the options. You have enabled the sidebar on the right option. So it's on the right side. I can also switch to the left side just by clicking right here, and it will switch to the left. But I don't think most websites would prefer this layout. I prefer the right side layout. So I'll keep it to the right side. Then you have the option of pages, blog posts, and archives. What do you want, or do you want to sidebar appearing on individual pages, blog posts, or archives? You can set this to default. That means what setting is right here, or you can set them to any option that you like. And also you can customize the appearance on sidebar of individual pages and posts as well. We'll go into that when we look at the meta settings. But right now, this is the options. These are the options that you can configure, and you can configure the width of the sidebar as well. You can change this percentage around, and then one of these the width of the sidebar will change. Now, since we are here, I'll also go back in the global options for a second, and also show you the container options, which I actually did not show you particularly well. This is the box layout which I was talking about. Everything appears as of it is in a box, but you can also have a content box, which looks like this, where the content is in box, but the sidebar actually is kind of it's not individual boxes. Then you also have the other options, full width, contained. So it looks full width. This is the how it appears, and also you have the full width stretched option. Means everything will take up the maximum amount of space it can. Now this is completely up to you on what kind of layout you want to choose. Boxed is also fine, and it depends on if you want to use a sidebar or not. Because if you don't use a sidebar, you can just use the content width as a measure to how wide or how narrow you want the layout to be. This is completely up to you. Just wanted to highlight this since we already created a sidebar for this option. Going back, let's see what other options we have to discuss. So right now we have the performance option, which is the last option on this list of options right here. Then we'll go back to the post meta. So coming to the performance options, we don't have too many options because Astra is already very fast, but these are just additional options you can configure. So option, load Google fonts locally. So remember that I showed you a bunch of fonts that you can use. Most of them are Google fonts. So the fonts are actually hosted by Google, and then you download them when your website loads. Maybe some, depending on the configuration of your server, configuration of your website, you might need to load them locally so that you'll save those fonts to your server and have them loaded. And if you want to do that, you have this option right here. And once you do this, all the fonts that you use on site will be downloaded locally to your server and then be displayed. And also you can preload the local fonts, which means even additional faster performance for those fonts. And if you have some caching issues, then you can always flush this local cache. And this is just the basic gist of all the basic options inside Astra, or not the basic options, but how easy it is to customize everything. I demonstrated every single option. That's why it took a little bit of time to explain all the features. But when you start doing this probably a 30-minute job. You'll have a beautiful looking website. And just think about all the customization options you have, which are standard and also linked to global stuff, global colors, global typography. So you don't have to spend hours and hours making small changes. Just change one and everything else changes. And of course, this is just I'd say the tip of the, not the tip of the iceberg, but this is just one global customized setting. So you also have settings that you can configure inside individual pages and posts. And of course, we'll take a look at that. But I just wanted to give you a little bit of breather. Think about any questions that you have at this point, leave them in the comments, and then we'll go back to individual posts and pages settings, and I'll show you what you can configure there in Astra. All right, so we're inside the blog post area, or the admin area, inside the admin area of our website. And what I've done is just open up a blank post for me to demonstrate all the options inside the meta settings of any singular post. So whatever settings I'm going to show you right here, these can be customized on a single post or even page basis. So every page on your site, every post on your site can have these options customized. So first thing, where to find the settings, how to open these up. It's simple. On the top row right here, what you can do is look at this icon, which is the Astra logo. If you click this option, it will open up the Astra settings for this entire page. And you have a bunch of options. So first of all, you have site layout, and you have page elements, and you have header. Let me explain all of these singular or individually. In the site layout options, you have the sidebar option. So for this particular post that we're looking at this right now, what do you want the sidebar option to be? Do you want these settings to be inherited from the customizer, the default, the global settings, whatever you can call it? Or do you want to have a left sidebar? Or do you want to have a right sidebar? Or do you want no sidebar? You can customize this on this particular page as well. So every page will have this option, right? And page meta settings have preference over global settings. So if your global settings is set to no sidebar and you set a right sidebar here, this page will have a sidebar. The global or the rest of your website will not have a sidebar, right? Same option with content layout. I demonstrated the different layout settings to you, right? So on those layout settings, for this particular post, what kind of layout settings do you want? Do you want the global default ones, which is set in the customizer? Or do you want boxed, content box, full width, contained, or full width stretched? Again, these are customizable on a page or as individual post basis. That's pretty incredible, right? Everything that you have, all the great options that I showed you, you can have so much control that you can set a complete set of settings for the entire website, but still your individual pages can have different settings. That's the power of Astra, right? So coming here on page elements, all these settings you see right here can be enabled or disabled on this page. What are all these settings? Disable the above header section, right? So the 3-section header that I talked about, you can disable the above header section, you can disable the primary header or even below header. So individual settings or individual rows can be disabled or enabled from the header. So you can technically disable the entire header from the page. Let's say you are building a quick landing page, you want to disable the header entirely, that's also possible. Disable the mobile header. So the mobile header is also not something that you can disable. You can also disable the title of the page, or if you don't want to have the title, you can disable breadcrumbs. You can disable the featured image and disable the footer on this page as well. And coming to the header, you have a header settings. As I mentioned, you can have different headings for different or headers for different pages on your site. So for this page, what do you want the header to be? Do you want the transparent header to be enabled, disabled, or just use the default setting? This is just an amazing set of options that you can customize individually on all pages on your site. And of course, when you use Astra Pro, they'll have some additional settings as well. So this is all that you need to understand with the free version of Astra. Let's take a break for a couple of minutes. Let's switch to the Pro version. I'll install it, activate it, and then I'll explain what you can do, all the exciting features that Astra Pro also has to offer. Okay, folks, we just covered all the exciting options in the Astra theme using the customizer, the post meta options, and see how exciting and how customizable Astra is. In the beginning of this video, I also mentioned that I'll be showing you how Astra integrates well with other online selling solutions, online course creation software, LMSs. But it's not possible for me to cover every add-on in any kind of significant detail. But the most popular online selling solution is WooCommerce. So I thought I'll just show you some basic settings on how WooCommerce and Astra play well together and how customizable your website becomes if you're using any of those add-ons. So consider WooCommerce as a reference. I've installed WooCommerce on my website right now. Now, technically, I have activated the Pro add-on as well, but I'm not using any of the Pro features in WooCommerce integration. So whatever you will see in the WooCommerce add-ons right now is part of the free version only. And of course, when we activate the Pro add-on, which I'll talk about, we'll have even more features. So WooCommerce is already installed and activated. Let's go into settings. You'll see that in the customizer right here. When I go into the customizer, I'll see all these options. So first of all, store notice. What does that mean? If I click the store notice, this is a place where I can customize the store notice. For example, when I haven't launched my website, I'm just testing it out, or it's not the website is being built, or the website is built, but I'm not shipping orders right now, I can customize a store notice right here. And if I enable this, then the store notice will be actually displayed on my site. So you can customize it right here, which is difficult to do with native WooCommerce. Coming to the product catalog option, this is where it gets interesting. When you click this option right here, you can customize the page where all the products are displayed. So what I did was I just created a random dummy product, an ebook, which suits the theme of the website, and you see it's right here. So I can have some customization options right here on the page. So on the shop page display, what should be displayed? Should the products be displayed, or should the categories be displayed, or should the categories and products be displayed? So this is one customization option which you have right here. And the category display, what should be seen? When the categories is being displayed, should we show the product? Should Astra show the subcategories or subcategories and products? That's also customizable. Then what is the default sorting for the products? Default sorting like custom ordering plus name, prime popularity, rating, most recent, ascending price, descending price. You have all these options right here. We can customize instantly, which is default. Of course, you have the option that the users can actually change this. But what is the default orderings, right? For example, let's say popularity. If product is selling well, you want that to be displayed on the top. So if you change that to popularity, then the default sorting option will be popularity, which is probably the best way, in my opinion, how I would set it up. Then shop archive content width. So what should be the width of this content, right? Of this archive page. Again, you have the default option, which we set in the global settings, or you can set up a custom value right here by choosing the custom option. And coming to the shop columns. So right now I've just set one product up. So technically you can imagine how many products would appear here. A total of 4, because I've set the category or column to 4. But I can actually change this. If I want to make the product's image larger, or if I don't want to show more products, I can customize this. And how many products to show on a single page, right? So if there are like 20 products, 12 products will be shown on a single page. And then you also have the shop product structure. So the category comes up first, the title comes up first, ratings, price. So this is similar to how I demonstrated customizing the blog archive and the single blog post page. You can enable or disable any of this data right here. For example, if you want to disable the ratings, you want to make that appear higher. So you can change this by dragging and dropping everything. For example, let's say I want to make sure the ratings come after the pricing. So I'll just move that right here and just wait for a second for the page to refresh. And now the ratings is below the pricing. So this is completely customizable for you for the shop archive page. Now going back, we have other options as well. So we have the single product page as well. So if I open that up, let's open this page up for demonstration. So right now in this page, we have the breadcrumb. So if we enable this option, which says disable breadcrumb, the breadcrumb should be disabled, and then it's just a cleaner page. So at least you have an option to do this. Depends on the significance of whether how important this is for you, but this option still exists that you can customize it, right? Coming to the next set of settings is for product images. This is I think very important setting. You can set the custom width for these images. A lot of times what happens is the product size, or let's say you have a very important product, people want to see it in a lot more detail, but if the product image size, which is set by a theme, is not big or it's too small, then the conversion rates can be severely affected. So this gives you the option to actually customize the image size right here and there. And you also have the option of a thumbnail cropping, whether it should be like cropped 1:1, or it should be cropped to a custom dimension, or it should remain uncropped. That's again, Astra is trying to give you more and more control over how you set up your e-commerce store. And this is options which is very difficult to set up if you're not familiar with code. Again, you have to mess around with settings and make a lot of changes. But in Astra, it's just a piece of cake. Just come here and change the settings and you're good to go. You also have the options for cart. Let's open that up and see in cart options, you have enable cross-selling. So if you have your products or your store is a large store and you have a lot of products, just enabling the option can make sure or can increase the probability that you'll have a lot more a higher ticket value coming from sales, because cross sales can mean selling products from different categories on the same page. So again, option exists inside Astra. Just enable this and enjoy more sales. And you also have some options for the checkout page. So let the checkout page open up and I'll explain what the options are. Right now, you can set up which of these fields are optional. For example, you can see right here, when somebody's checking out, you would probably want their first name and last name. But a lot of times you don't want, sometimes you don't want their company name, right? It's okay if they don't fill this in. So what you can do is enable, hidden, or even require this. So let's say you don't want to even capture the page right here. Or just go and hide this then. The company name just goes away. Now this single feature is so hard to find reliable products to do, and Astra is giving you this for free. Same, you can do this for a second line of address and also for the phone number. A lot of countries, phone number is the primary way of communication. A lot of people don't use email. For example, India, phone number is huge. We don't care if we capture emails, phone number is definitely required. So you have the option right here to make sure that those fields are required, or shown and optional or hidden. And of course, you have this option right here, highlight required fields with an asterisk. So it's important, I believe. You can see the little red asterisk right here. So all the fields that are mandatory to fill in, you will have this asterisk show up. And you also have, you can set up your privacy policy page link right here. So whatever the experience or the notice you will see in the cart, the privacy policy will be linked in. And this might be a very big regulatory requirement. And this just feature is so important. And a lot of times these small things are very hard to customize if you don't know how to do so and you're a beginner. And Astra gives you all these options for free because we understand what the needs are for online sellers. And of course, you have terms and conditions as well. So I don't have a page right now on this website. Otherwise, I could have just created a page, or I could take any page and just link it right here. For example, just as a demonstration, let me click the About page right here. So as an example, now I've set this up and I also have the terms and conditions page linked right here. I can have the users or the link just shows up here, right? It's so easy to add these kind of details, which is important. And you can also customize the message that appears in front of the privacy policy and terms of conditions. And all these important features, you want to customize everything so easy in Astra. And we're not currently using the pro version. This is just all in the free version of Astra. So all these interesting options. This is just was an example of WooCommerce, as I mentioned, but any kind of product that you use, let's say you're using a LearnDash software or Lifter LMS or Easy Digital Downloads, you'll find similar options for Astra being working together with those products and giving you all the tools that you need to create beautiful looking websites. And this is just a demonstration. Of course, we'll be looking at more detailed features when we look at the pro features, but I hope you understood how important Astra can be to your workflow and the speed of execution when you're looking to build a website. All right. I hope you enjoyed this demonstration, short demonstration with WooCommerce. Let's take a break. I'll be back in a second, and then we'll be looking at the pro features, and we'll be talking about a little bit more detail on how you can start using and what features can be important to you. Right? Catch you in a second. All right. I hope you enjoyed the demonstration of all the exciting features in Astra, including the integration with WooCommerce that I just demonstrated. Now it's time to talk about the pro features in Astra. Now, before we actually get into the settings and options and what you can expect from the pro version of Astra, let me clarify a few things. There are so many different exciting options in the pro version. And for me to demonstrate each of them in a lot of detail is impractical, because this video might be 5 hours long, because each of the features opens up tons of possibilities that you can use to create websites. So what I'm going to try and do is cover all the important settings and try to paint a picture of what's possible and demonstrate all these important features in significant, or I'd say in sufficient detail, so that you understand what the feature is without me having to spend hours and hours explaining every little feature. All right, let's start with the video demonstration first, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. So right now I'm in the my dashboard of my website, and I have the Astra add-on installed and activated on my website. Now, first thing before we look at any of the settings, we have to actually start activating the features of the pro version. Let me explain what that means. You'll go into Appearance. You'll go into Astra Options, click this page, and this is a familiar page. You might have seen this already, the licensing and all the details you can write here. But what you see right here is what the Astra Pro module is about. Now, why do we call it modules? Because Astra is a modular theme, and it specifically when it comes to the pro features. As you see, there are a lot of features right here, which you can see. Now, not everybody will require or need all these features activated on their site at the same time, and most of the people won't even use all the features. Some people might find a lot of value in page header, some people might use scroll to top, some people might use other spacing options, but not all of them will be required all at the same time. So what you can do, you can only activate the features that you'll be using on your site, so that the additional resources that are required for loading other features are not loaded on your site. So that means your website will be as lean as possible when it comes to performance and loading excessive resources. So that's the first part. So that's why I said you have to activate those features which are you going to use. So let me just give you a paraphrase how these options appear. So colors and background, typography and spacing, these will be the customized related options. You'll find additional color options, background options, or color options in the backgrounds, additional typography options, additional spacing options, and Blog Pro will give you more layouts to work with when we talk about like the customization options that we saw in the blog singular page and the blog archive page. Nav Menu gives you navigation menu, supercharges your navigation menu, gives you mega menu options and all those features. Sticky header, of course, you can understand what that means. Page headers is a powerful module, and custom layouts is something that is really, really amazing. And site layouts and scroll top, again, these are, I'll try and explain and demo this at one at a time. But let's start with the first few options. So what I'll do is activate colors, typography, spacing, Blog Pro, and Nav Menu, or I'll just stick to Blog Pro. I'll demonstrate what these features are, how they affect, what are new options you can expect to use, and then you can decide for yourself if you need the features activated when you're designing your website. So just to activate the feature, it's very simple to do. Just click activate, 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 and it's all done. Right. So all these features are now activated. So now what I'll do is I'll go into the customizer once again by going to customize, and then we look at the additional options that we get. All right. See you there. So we're in the customizer now, and let's talk about one module at a time so I can explain all the amazing options that the pro version of Astra gives you. So let's start with the color and background, because it's the first one that we activated. And as the name suggests, color and background options will give you more color options to choose from and customize the colors in more places. Now, there are plenty of places where you'll start noticing this. So I'll just demonstrate a few different places where you can start seeing this option, right? So let's go to first the global options right here. And then in the global options, the familiar options that I demonstrated when I was demoing the free version or the demonstrating all the color options right here, These settings were pretty similar with what, or it's the same what you saw. But what is new is these heading options. So when you install and activate the color presets or the color module, now you have the option of setting individual different colors for each of these headings. And of course, you can link them to the global colors or set custom colors as you like. So this is just one place where you'll find this. And also going back and checking out some other areas, let me just demonstrate where you will see it. For example, if I go to the sidebar options, and inside the sidebar options, if I go to the design option, now I see additional options to customize the colors. I can set the background color, some other additional colors, which was not available earlier. Similarly, you would see additional options in the header areas and the blog archive section and the single post section, and even some in the header or footer places where there are color options available. You'll see additional options appear when you're using the color module. Next, let's talk about the typography options, which is the second module that we activated here. And as you can see, the typography options will start giving you more and more options and control with typography and similar features, of course. So let me give you again, as I mentioned, wherever we've seen the typography options, you might start seeing additional options with Astra Pro. Let me give you a quick example on what you can expect with the Pro module activated. Let me open up the header footer builder and let me go into the primary menu right here. So I'm in the primary menu option, of course, as I demonstrated. Now let's say I want to customize it. So if I go into the design option right here, you'll find additional options enabled. Of course, I have the color module enabled as well. So some of these options will be from the color options, for example, the border color and some other color options which you see right here. But you will also start seeing font related options, which is typography options. So now you have the menu font, the submenu font, the mega menu heading. So now you can customize the fonts of each of these elements. So you have a mega menu, let's say you customize that, the font of the menu itself, the submenu font. Now you can get additional control over customizing each of these options. So again, as I said, Astra Pro giving you even more control over what you want. And this is not the only place where you'll find the typography options. There are plenty of other places where you'll find noticing additional details or like additional configuration options about typography options when you use Astra Pro. So this was the color and typography options. Let's move on to the next module which we activated. All right, let's talk about the spacing module, which we already activated. Now, from the name, you can probably understand what the spacing module does. It allows you to manage the spacing between the elements better. But where will you see all these options? So you'll find the spacing module activated in a bunch of different places. Let me just paraphrase. You'll find them options in the site identity module, in the containers, in the header, and the blog archives, in the sidebar, and also in the footer. So instead of going into all those places and doing everything, I'll just show you a couple of places where the spacing module will add some additional details for you to customize your website. So let's start with the basic one, which we already demonstrated. Let's go to the container options first. So we go to the container option right here. The general settings is something that we already saw, and shout out to WooCommerce layout options also showing up here. And if you go to the design options right here, this is something new, right? You didn't have these options, the container options right here. So now you see the spacing for the outside container spacing and inside container spacing. And you can set them up in, say, a variety of ways. So you can link them all together so that the spacing is consistent on all the edges for inner, inside, and outside, or you can delink them. You can also set them on the basis of pixels, EM values, and also percentage basis. And as I mentioned, you can set this or customize the spacing according to device spaces as well. So if you choose to use a mobile layout or tablet layout, the spacing can be different on each devices. This is one place where you find the spacing options. And the other option, let me show you, let's say the navigation option. So the primary menu, if I go to this, and if I go into the design option right here, I scroll down, I already showed you the color options, right? But now you have all these spacing options. So in the menu, what's the spacing between the menu? What's the menu for the sub menus, mega menu, and also what's the margins like? So this allows you to customize or like space elements better, further away together, and gives you additional level of control or what you want to do. Again, you will find all these options in sidebar in different areas of the header, but just giving you an option on how customizable this is. Now, this is just 4 values that you can enter, but not only can you connect them together, you can delink them, you can set different values for different device types, you can set them based on pixels, EM, and percentages. So everything that you see on the website, sometimes you feel like, okay, if this was just a little bit better aligned, maybe it would be better. All those options can be configured when you use the spacing module in Astra Pro. So that's it for the spacing module. Let's talk about the next module. Talking about the next set of settings that we enabled already, the Blog Pro settings. So let's go to the customizer. I'll demonstrate what the Blog Pro settings do. For that, we'll go into the blog session or the customizer right here. And we have two options or the similar options that I demonstrated. But the options inside these individual options have changed or have become more, I'd say, sophisticated. So in the single post option, some of these options you already saw. But if you scroll down here, you'll find additional options. Again, some of these are from, might also coming from the typography options and color options. But you see additional features now here. So you can set up featured image sizes right here and then apply those to your pages. I'll just open up quickly the single post template. Let me just open it up and I'll show you how this appears. So for any of the featured image size, this was the featured image size. Now I can actually change the size right here for all my single posts and apply this. I can enable the author info. I can disable the post navigation. I can auto load previous post, next post. You have tons of different options that you now see that you can go. So if you have if you're a publisher and you have more traffic coming to the content of your website, the different pages on your website, the Blog Pro module is giving you additional options. And if you go into the design options, again, you have the spacing module and some color options and typography options coming in here as well. And going to the blog archive page, let me open up the blog archive page quickly so I can quickly demonstrate what the options will be. Again, the best part or the first interesting part is that you see three different distinct layout options for just the beginning or the header of the page, right? So if I click this option right here, you'll see the page actually transforming and the featured image appearing to the side. And again, you can do that the same thing and you can do it to the left. And on the archive page, you can add spacing between the posts. Right now, this you find a very specific amount of spacing, but if you want, you can have a little bit of division between the pages. So giving it a little more, I'd say, character. So it's easy to navigate that, okay, this is a different actual page. And you can enable the date box. And then you have a lot of options that you can configure with all these options. So date box, see right here, the date of publishing is now appearing on the featured image, and you can make it a square, which is already there, but you can also make it a circle. And then additional options, which you can see right here. If you scroll down, you have the excerpt count and you have the featured image size again. Then the pagination options are also appearing, and then you have pagination style also coming up on the screen right here. So this is something that you can now do with the Pro version of Astra. Giving you additional controls like beautifying your website, and of course with the design option now you have all these typography and spacing controls, which I already demonstrated, right? So again, it's coming back to the same theme that the more customized, the more specific you want the layout of your website to be, Astra Pro will help you get there with all these beautiful options, right? So we've covered these four options right now, and let's move on to the next one, which is called the Nav Menu. So what I'll do is I'll just activate the Nav Menu option right here. And then after it's activated, this module actually, you don't have to go to the customize, right? If you're familiar with WordPress, you know where the menus are actually customized. You go into the appearance and you go into menus. So let's head over there. I'll open this up a new tab and I'll talk about how you can start utilizing this option or the nav option, right? So where was I? I was telling you about the navigation or Nav Menu Pro module. So I don't remember if I mentioned the Nav Menu or module in Astra Pro allows you to create mega menus, right? So menus with a lot of hierarchies, different pages, under pages, sub pages. It gives you additional options to work around that and like create a beautiful custom menu. So I'm in the menu section. I've loaded up my primary menu. Just to give you an example of how I would approach this or how you would use this on your website if you want to create nav menus, is you would pick up the first section, or I say the menu item under which you want to create the nav menu, or you would want to create the mega menu. So let's say I pick up this page which I created as a demonstration. I'll click this drop down option right here, and this will open up the familiar settings. I've just added a URL and a welcome label, but the Astra menu settings is something which is new here. So I'll click this option right here, and this will give me these options. So first thing, I'll enable the mega menu option. And now you'll have tons of different options to customize the mega menu. All of these settings are just for customization options. So I'll quickly run down all the options. First, you have the option of setting how wide the menu should be. Should it be just under the width of the menu or the entire page, whatever the options you want to have. This is completely up to you. You can change the heading color, you can change the background color, have an image as a background and have it repeat, or maybe what's the size of the background, the position, and then change the text colors, add highlights to or labels to it. For example, let's say you introduce a new product, you want to add the new label just next to it. That's possible. You can change the color, the background color, and also set up the margins and paddings and every kind of option. Now, if I demonstrate this would be exhausting. There's so many options right here, but you've seen navigation menus, mega menus on different websites. I'm pretty sure you have. But Astra gives you like complete control to create beautiful looking navigation menus or mega menus with this Nav Pro module. So that's a quick demonstration on the Nav module. And let's talk about the next module, which is called the sticky header module. So talking about the sticky headers module, let's activate the feature right here. And we'll go into the customizer once again, and we'll look at what we can do with sticky headers. I'll just go here. I'll go back. I'll refresh this page, and we'll talk about the sticky header module. So how do you do this? You go into the header footer builder, because of course that's where the sticky or that's where we customize the header. And of course we have header types. Before you would see only the transparent header, but now you see the sticky header option as well. And if you go here and you say what options or which of these modules do you want to sticky on top? For let's say example, I say stick the primary header, which is this row, which has all the elements right here. I can enable this, and I can have this module now stick it on top. Now, of course, this looks not so great because it doesn't have, it's a transparent header. But if I disable the transparent header for a second, if let's say if it was not here, then this would look much better. But you have customization options. You get the spirit on how it will look like. Again, if I just scroll up till here, you can see these module working perfectly. And of course, we've done a dedicated video on explaining all the features and how to set this up, how to set this on specific pages and posts. And you also have like a different configuration options as well. For example, you can have all individual elements or individual rows being stickied. You can have the shrink effect, which just shrinks the or removes the spacing around the header so that it's compact while it's coming down. And how hide while scrolling down means that when you're scrolling down, the header is not displayed, but only when you're scrolling up is when the header is displayed. For example, I'm scrolling down, the header has disappeared, but if I scroll up, now you see the header appear. So you have complete control over how you want this to appear. You also have animation options. You have the different devices where you can set this up. And of course, inside the meta options, which I also showed you in the beginning or earlier in the video, you can customize and have this enabled or disabled on only specific pages of your site. So again, sticky header giving you all the options that you would need to create a beautiful looking sticky header for your website, right? That's what it is, and that's what all about the features about the sticky header. Let's move on to some of the additional other features: page headers, custom module, site layouts, scroll to top. Let me finish up. Scroll to top is the easiest feature to explain, because page headers, custom layouts, and site layouts are something of more advanced features. I want to spend some time understanding and explaining to you how this can help you with your website, right? So let's activate scroll to top, and while this is activated, I'll just go back here and refresh this page right here. And you've seen scroll to top, how it works. It's very easy or easy to explain, right? I'll just quickly demonstrate this. I'll go into, or I'll just go right here. Just let me refresh the page once again. I forgot if I refreshed it. And I'll go to the global settings, and inside the global settings, I have this scroll to top feature. And if I go to scroll to top feature, it's already enabled now. And if I go scroll down, you see the scroll top feature right here. So the scroll top feature gives you additional options to configure this. So you have enable options, you have position options, you have size options, you have design options, you can customize everything. But ultimately the feature does one thing: you just click the button and it'll take it to the top of the page. So that's what the scroll top feature does. And also talking about site layouts feature. Let's talk about, so it's about scroll top. That's the only thing that you need to know. Let's talk about the site layout feature and what they do. So let's talk about the site layout module. So I already have it activated, and I've also opened up the customizer with the global container options. And this is the site layout options, which you see right here. And what it does is it allows you to change the layout of your site, obviously. But what does the options entail? So right now it's set to fluid, and that means the entire website is now stretched edge to edge. So it gives you kind of a wide look. You also have an option for full width, which is kind of the default option. So if you see full width, it'll go complete edge to edge, but you'll have the option of setting up the container width as well. Then you have the maxed width option, and max width is like you set up a complete maximum width, and the website will be restricted to that. So see right here, the max width is right now set to 1200 pixels. So that's using max width. And you also have the padded option, which will add a padding to like the general container of your website from edge to edge. So this option, again, this is advanced layout option. So let's say you want to customize the look of your website in different ways. And of course, any of these options that you select will give you additional options to start customizing the layout. So full width has a different option, fluid has different options, and every website or every option has different configuration options which you can utilize. So this is a straightforward way to explain what this module actually does. And talking about the next few modules, right? These are the modules that I want to spend a little bit extra time on, the page headers and custom layouts. So what I'll do is deactivate the rest of the modules, and I'll just activate first the page headers module, and we'll talk about that. And then we'll talk about the custom layouts. But I think these are the most powerful ones that are really customizable. All right. So deactivating all the other modules, let's enable page headers, and then let's talk about that in just a second. All right, so once you've enabled the page header module, what you'll start noticing is a new option appearing under Astra Options right here, which is called the page headers. Let's head to the page headers module first, and I'll explain what the use of this particular Pro module is. So inside the page header modules, you see there's no additional page header modules created. But what is a page header, and why would you need it? Where is it useful? So let me give you a practical example, right? So the site that we have right now, this is the about page of the website. Now you look at this page and you say it's a beautiful design page, right? It has an image right here, it has the header right here. But if you divide this, think of this structurally, how this page is designed. This is the site header, and this is the page header. The entire about us section is a page header because it's just showing the title of the page with an image background. Now, how would you go about creating this kind of layout with Astra? That is where the page header module comes into play. It gives you all these options to customize this header section for individual pages or even set of pages, and also merge it with like your entire site header and create this beautiful looking kind of layouts and give you all the options to customize it, right? So here is the page header module, right? So we have not created any custom page header module because this was just part of the template. So let me just give you a quick rundown on what is possible again, because this is a very powerful module. I can go hours just explaining all the different options here. But giving you the gist of it, let's create a new page header by clicking add new. You can name the page header, so because you can create multiple different styles of page headers and then utilize them on different sections of your website. And then you have three different options: page header, site header, display rules. I'll get to all of them. So in the page header options, you have the layout options. You have this kind of layout, which is center aligned, which you kind of see it's a center aligned kind of thing. Then you also have a page header inline. You also have a no page header. So depending on how you want to structure this, you can have any of these options. Then you can enable, disable breadcrumbs. Right now, you don't see breadcrumbs here on the header. So you can enable, disable. That's up to you. Then for the size, what should be the background size of this, right? And should be the background of this? Do you want to select an image that should be used as the background? You have all these options. You can set enable parallax effects on each of these sites. And this is just, I'd say, a set of tools that you can use to create any kind of layout on your website, giving you like all kinds of possibilities. So this is just the page header module. Now you can also use the site header module right here, and you can merge them. For example, right now you see there's no separation between the page header and the site header. It's kind of they are together in a singular area. So this is what you can do with this option. So if you enable this option, you'll see different all the color options that you can utilize to create site headers for your site. And this is again, it is an advanced module, and many beginners, if you're just a beginner, you might not understand the implication of is this really useful. But let me tell you, this is really, really powerful feature if you want to really create custom layouts or custom, I'd say, page header styles on your site. And you can have different page headers for different sections of your site. For example, this is just the about page. Let's say for all the pages on your site, you create this kind of a layout, but all the blog posts have a different kind of layout, which is kind of what you see also here, right? If you go into the welcome post, this is a post, this is a page, you have a different kind of header layout here. So this is what is possible for you to customize instead of being reliant on the pre-defined layout within the template or the theme that you're using. And again, the most powerful option that you can use in combination with this is the display rules option, because this is where it gets really interesting. Once you've created a page layout, right, or say, let's say you've kind of created a page header or a section of page header plus a site header. Now, what pages or posts would you want to be displayed on? So you can set this to be shown on your entire site, all the singular pages, all archive pages, 404 page, individual pages, only the posts, only the post archives, only the pages. You have all these options, and you can even specify only specific pages or maybe just singular posts that should get this or should use this page header module or specific page header that you create. And that's not the only thing you can do. You can also select only specific user types that get to see that module. So for example, you can have different page headers for logged in users and logged out users. You can have different, for example, if you're running an e-commerce website and you have a page where people can track their orders, of course, or you can have a page where, just giving an example out there, let's imagine a shipping page, right? You can have different looking page layout for logged in and logged out users. Someone tries to access the shipping page, you can create a different layout or create a different page header and have a beautiful looking page for them as well. So this is a really, really powerful feature which can really, for complex websites where you want that extra edge on complete customization on what you want to create, this is a beautiful looking module that you can use. So again, I'm not probably doing justice to explain all the little details or all the intricacies that you can have with all these modules, but it's like I'm trying to keep this video to a more reasonable length. So that's all with the page header models. Let's head back to the Astra options right here. And I'll activate the custom layout module as well. So when you activate custom layout, you also see another option come up here, which is the custom layout option. And going to the custom layout option, the easiest way I can explain this is this option allows you to create any piece of content and then have it display on specific areas of your site. And that area where you can show this can be anywhere. Let me give you a practical example. Let's say you want to have ads being displayed on your site. Let's say you're running a limited time offer about selling a product. Then you can have that inserted in your pages and posts, maybe throughout your entire website. I'll give you, you'll understand more and more, or I'll explain this more in a lot more detail as we go along. So right now, let me just open up first the Astra visual hooks so that I can explain how to start utilizing the feature. Because if you don't understand hooks in Astra, then probably this feature won't make sense. So I'll open this page up. This is a page that you can find. I'll leave a link in the description of this video. Is all the hooks that Astra theme provides with the Pro version. So you see this, just imagine this being a regular page in Astra. This is the header, this is your blog post, and this is your footer. And all these areas that you see right here are actually hooks that you can place your content, hook your content in. So if you want to place, let's say, an ad right here, banner image right here, you can do that. You can use any of these hooks to add content anywhere on your site. It's pretty powerful once you understand the implication of it. And this is not the only options that you can use. Definitely, you can see so many different visual hooks or different hooks actually you can use to add content. You also get many different options to create and use custom layouts. So inside the custom layout, you see all custom layouts, header, footers, hooks, page content. Again, if I go into a lot of too much detail, it will be a little, I'd say a little bit boring. So let me start with let's start with the page content first, right? So page content, let's give, for example, you are running a limited time offer and you want to maybe start creating or capturing email addresses for people who are visiting your pages and posts. But if you, let's say, design an email capture box, you would have to add it to every single page on your site, right? That's a little time-consuming task. So what you can do is create a custom layout and then have that appear in somewhere in your pages, all your pages. How do we do that? Let's find out. So we open up the custom layout module right here. We'll create create a new custom layout, and then gives you an option of what kind of custom layout you want to create. Is it a header? Is it a footer? Is it a 404 page? Is it the hook? Or is it an inside page post content? For just simplicity's sake, let's use inside page and post content. That means we're trying to create something that we'll add in the middle of a page. Okay. So once this is done, now we get to decide how do we create this? So let's say you're creating an email capture box. You have to design that box. So what you can do is you can go to starter templates and then go to patterns and you just pick up any pattern that you like. Now, just for simplicity, let's keep it, let's say call to action right here. So I'll just import this and this will be imported to this site. Let's say this is our custom layout that we want to publish. So now what do you do? Where do you display this? Now this is where the amazing feature of custom layouts comes into play. So we've created an inside page post content layout, right? But location, where do you want to place this? So imagine divide a page into, let's say 15 paragraphs. So what you can say is after X number of blocks on a page, let's say 5, display this everywhere. So on every page of your site, after 5 blocks, this content will automatically be added. How powerful is that, right? You don't have to go into individual pages and posts and add this. it's done automatically for you. And this is just the beginning of the targeting options, right? You also have display and user settings. So you want to display them on specific categories, you got that. Single pages, got that. Entire site, got that. Only pages, got that. Only posts, you have that. Only on search page, only on the front page, maybe date archives. Every possible combination that you can think of, you can have this custom layout show up. For example, let's take an example that you cover 5 different variety of categories on your site, and you have maybe an exciting offer product that you're selling which applies to only one category. So you create a custom layout for individual categories and then have them display individually in pages inside those categories just using these options. How powerful is that, and how flexible is that? Anytime you make any changes to your categories, the custom layout automatically, magically just starts appearing everywhere on the page. And you have display on and you have do not display on. So you have white listing options, you also have black listing options. And you can have this for only logged in users, logged out users, only for specific, I'd say, a specific category of people on your site. So you have this displayed on for all people, maybe logged in users, logged out users, maybe it's shown only to administrators, or maybe only to contributors. If you have a free website where you can be, a lot of people are contributing, you can have display notices appear for them. Possibilities is just endless, right? This is just amazing stuff. And we have responsive visibility as well. So you can control which devices this appears on. And this is a new feature that we added recently, time duration settings. Now, this is again a powerful feature. And using this option, you can have this custom layout appear only at certain times of the day. So you select a start time and you select an end time, and then the custom layout that you configured will appear only during that time. So if you can use all these options, the custom layout is appearing after a certain number of blocks in a page. It's appearing only for certain people, only in certain categories of your website, only on specific devices, and only on specific times of the day. How powerful and granular that feature is, right? It's amazing. And we are adding even more features to this. So what we are doing is you can have, we kind of adding a calendar feature here. So let's say you want to display the custom layout only from Monday to Friday at a certain time, you'll be able to do this. And this will be possible for you to do. So this is just, like I say, custom layouts is one of those features which the more you explain it, the more you can go into details of how this can help your website and how this can be used to like 10 number of ways, or I'd say infinite number of ways to achieve any kind of goal that you have with your website, right? So going here, as I mentioned, a lot of different options, and this is just, I'd say, this is just we've just used the block options to target. But as I said, you have the hooks, right? So if you want to use, instead of the, let's say, the number of blocks that I mentioned, you want to use hooks as a way to add some content. So you can have any kind of, or any place that I showed you, you can have any kind of custom layout created and just displayed anywhere on the site with all these controls that I mentioned. So you can have something above the header, like a notice that you want to add, maybe a banner with a specific offer that you have, maybe a sale that's running on, or you can add something to the sidebar, something just above the header, just below the header. Maybe you want to create a like something that appears after your the body of the content, and maybe just above the header, or sorry, above the footer, below the footer. You have so much control over where you want to place the content, and this is the power of Astra Pro, right? Yeah, the free version of Astra does give you all these options to customize, right? But if you want to really nail down like specific features, and you want to like create a beautiful site which have all these targeting options which professionals would use, then you use the Pro feature. Again, just touching the basics of what custom layouts is able to do for your site. And again, you have all these the custom layouts that you use right here also. Easy to use, utilize. You can enable them, disable them. You have some quick view features on what you can do with them, and you can also like create custom layouts for like headers, footers. So again, this is, I think, third time I'm mentioning this. Custom layouts, just the tip of the iceberg. This is a really underrated feature, which I think many people don't take your like full advantage of. Going back to Astra options, what's left, right? We have covered everything almost. So we have additional WooCommerce options, we have some EDD options, we have Learn Dash options, Lift LMS options, and white label options. Now, I've kind of already showed you all the amazing features, even the free version of Astra. And if you enable the WooCommerce module, then you will start getting even more additional options, what you can do with Astra Pro. And of course, the similar features that you'll start seeing in EDD, Learn Dash, Lift LMS, And for white labeling, you can customize white label, or you can completely white label Astra to appear as under any name if you client work and you want to sell this as a service as well. And I'm not going to go into details of EDD, Learn Dash, Lifter LMS. What I'll do is I'll link a page in this video's description where we have a complete detailed comparison of Astra Free and Pro, and it lists out all the specific features that you will have in the free version versus the pro version for with regards to EDD, WooCommerce, Learn Dash, and Lifter LMS. But the point here is, if you're creating an e-commerce website, you have some amazing options with Astra. If you're using easy digital downloads to sell digital products, you have some amazing options with Astra Pro. If you're using Learn Dash or Lifter LMS to sell course-based content, you have some amazing options. And of course, I showed you all these amazing features in Astra Pro as well. And again, free version is more than enough for a lot of people. Maybe it's very exciting, the amount of features that you have. The pro version gives you that extra edge that you can have. Now, for a lot of people who don't know a few things about Astra, let me just clarify. If you use Astra, I showed you starter templates, right? So starter templates, as I mentioned, not all the templates that you see in starter templates are available in the free version. If you want to use any of the paid version or premium templates, then you have to use the premium version of Astra, or not the premium version of Astra. You have to use update to a bundle. So just clarifying what you can do or what the pricing are for different bundles and what you get. So if you have already purchased Astra Pro, maybe you already have purchased any of the bundles. I don't know, but just giving you explaining to you what options you get. So if you're free user of Astra, if you just want to use the features that I demonstrated, the Pro version, then you just have to purchase Astra Pro. But if you go for the Essential bundle, which is a better value in my opinion, what you get is all the features in Astra Pro. You get 180 premium star templates, right? Let me just open up the star templates website once again. What was the website? Just give me a second. So starter templates. Let me just show you quickly on all the different starter templates that you'll get access to if you purchase the growth bundle or the essential bundle. And I'll talk about the growth bundle as well. So coming here, all these templates which will load in a second, the premium ones you cannot use with just Astra Pro, right? So if you just use, where's the page? If you just use Astra Pro, you don't get access to all these premium templates. But with the essential bundle, you do get that option. So every premium template that you see right here, you can use that if you upgrade to the essential bundle. Of course, there are 180 templates which you can utilize. And of course, the free versions are still free. And going here, you also have the WP Portfolio plugin, and you also get choice of builder add-ons. So let's say you build pages with Elementor or Beaver Builder. So you'll also get access to ultimate add-ons to Elementor or Beaver Builder. Any of these options you will get as well in this specific pricing. And of course, if you upgrade to the growth bundle, which is the best value in my opinion, you get everything that's in Astra Pro, everything that's in Essential Pro, and also you get all the additional products that we have. We have Convert Pro, Schema Pro, and of course you get access to both ultimate add-ons for Beaver Builder and Elementor. And you also get access to SkillJet Academy, which is a sister website that we have, which has a lot of educational content on how to build a business, how to grow revenue. And of course, there are a couple of courses that I've created as well regarding schema, how to add schema, and course that I created on how to speed up your website using WP Rocket and other products. You get all that, and unlimited website users, of course, is included, and also product updates and future products that we make as well. So that's it. That's all the complete tutorial on how to utilize Astra to create a beautiful looking, powerful website. And I hope I answered all of the questions that might be in your mind about should I use Astra? Should I use the Pro version? Should I use this? What the features like? How to utilize these specific features in Astra? And of course, if you have any questions, you can leave them down below in the comments, and I'll try my best to answer them as soon as possible. You were listening to Yuvraj from the Brainstorm Force team. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making this video. I'll catch you in the next one. I'll place some videos on the screen which you can watch next if you still have the time, still have the patience, still have the energy to watch more videos. Catch you in the next video. Take care and stay safe.